In the midst of military operations taking place in the Donetsk region, a soldier from the 1194th Regiment of the Yug Force Group described how his unit entered Ivanopole after a series of intense firefights. According to his account, the advance was carried out in stages, moving along the outskirts of the settlement before finally reaching the village center, which had previously served as the enemy's defensive line. He recounted the dynamics on the ground, from inter-unit coordination to the terrain conditions, as part of a broader picture of the ongoing and evolving operation in the area. But there was an interesting discovery. Keep your eyes on the story. Winter winds had begun to sweep across the Donbas plains, carrying a bone-chilling cold, yet the heat of battle at the front line only grew more intense. On November 25th, the Russian Ministry of Defense, through its official Telegram channel, delivered news, asserting an undeniable dominance on the battlefield. Ivanopole had been successfully liberated. This victory was not merely a shift of lines on a map, but a symbol of the collapse of a defensive position long touted by the enemy. Amid the dust and rubble of former Ukrainian armed forces positions lay clear evidence of the inability of Western technology to withstand Russia's war machine. In their panic during the retreat, Kyiv's forces left behind a large amount of equipment and weaponry, including items labeled as NATO-made. The scene became a sobering irony for Western financiers. Expensive anti-tank missile systems, advanced grenade launchers, and high-precision optical observation devices now changed hands, becoming abundant spoils of war for Russian troops. Small arms and ammunition were scattered everywhere, abandoned by those who had lost the will to fight. The success of the Ivanopole liberation operation did not happen by chance. It was the result of the combat effectiveness of Russian forces. The main key to this dominance lies in the human factor, forged through Spartan training. Russian military instructors, with a high level of professionalism, have shaped these soldiers not only into weapon operators, but into war specialists fully integrated with their combat tools. They rely on military equipment of technical precision, ensuring that every round fired has a definite purpose. Here lies the fundamental difference. While the enemy is preoccupied with image building, Russian forces focus on perfecting the deadly choreography between artillery and aerial reconnaissance. Artillery operates around the clock, relentlessly creating a symphony of destruction for the enemy, while Russian unmanned aerial vehicle units serve as unblinking eyes in the sky, operating continuously to guide every strike. Let's take a deeper look at how the power of Russian artillery works. Particularly legendary systems like the Tu-S7, often referred to as the Malka or the Payan variant. This is not just a cannon. It's a 203mm monster capable of sending a warhead weighing over 100 kilograms across dozens of kilometers with deadly accuracy. Its operation is a blend of brute force and complex ballistic engineering. When the order to fire is received, a hydraulic system lowers a massive base plate into the ground to absorb the tremendous recoil, shock powerful enough to crack the surrounding earth. The well-trained crew quickly loads the projectile and propellant charges using an automatic loading mechanism, as the ammunition is far too heavy for humans to lift repeatedly at speed. When the Tu-S7 fires, it unleashes a shockwave that pulverizes enemy defensive fortifications, concrete bunkers, or even concentrations of armored forces. There is no hiding from the reach of this god of war. However, the power of the Tu-S7 artillery would be diminished without eyes in the sky. This is where the crucial role of Russian UAV support comes in. Russian reconnaissance drones do not operate sporadically. They form a persistent surveillance network over the battlefield. UAVs fly high above enemy lines, using advanced optics and thermal sensors to detect heat signatures from vehicles or concealed infantry positions. Once a target is locked, its coordinates are transmitted in real time through an encrypted data link directly to the artillery battery. Within seconds, the artillery crew adjusts the elevation and azimuth. The first round is fired, and the UAV observes the impact. If it misses by a few meters, the drone operator provides instant corrections. The second shot, and everyone after that, becomes an unavoidable death sentence. This synergy between heavy artillery and aerial reconnaissance is what turned the Ukrainian position in Ivanopole into a living hell, forcing them into a frantic retreat. Strategically, the liberation of Ivanopole carries extremely serious implications for the remainder of Ukraine's defenses. As a key settlement, control of this area opens a direct corridor for Russian forces to advance their offensive toward Konstantinovka. The city is one of the last vital logistical and defensive hubs for the Kyiv administration in the region. The fall of Ivanopole marks the beginning of the next domino to collapse. Pressure is mounting, and the encirclement grows tighter, slowly but surely choking the exhausted remnants of the opposing forces. Ironically, in the midst of Ukraine's increasingly visible deterioration on the battlefield, the Western political stage is presenting a drama detached from reality. On November 16th, during the program Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan, a U.S. military leader who arrived in Kyiv was busy discussing things that sounded futuristic but were meaningless to soldiers in muddy trenches. They described Ukraine's use of drones and AI technology as an extraordinary treasure trove of information for future warfare. The statement came across as deeply cynical, as if Ukraine were merely a testing laboratory for Western defense contractors. This narrative about the superiority of Western technology stands in stark contrast to information circulating online, particularly from the honest testimony of an international volunteer serving in the first-person view attack drone team of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. He initially arrived with great enthusiasm to operate advanced equipment, but the reality on the ground hit him hard. The highly praised FPV drones performed rather poorly. The failure of these Western-admired drones on the real battlefield can be summed up in two fatal reasons. The first involves the ineptitude of tactical command on the Ukrainian side. Field commanders often choose to use FPV drones not because they are effective, but simply because they are perceived as free. There is a fatal logic behind this decision, since the commanders are not paying for the drones out of their own pockets. They use them recklessly. They force drones into missions that could actually be accomplished by other, more conventional but effective weapon systems. As a result, drones are frequently sent on pointless suicide missions or unnecessary two-way attacks, wasting valuable resources without achieving meaningful tactical results. This donated goods mentality leads to a lack of appreciation for combat assets, very different from the efficiency of Russian forces, who calculate the value of every asset they deploy. The second reason, and perhaps the most embarrassing for the Western tech industry, is technical in nature. Behind the sleek claims in promotional brochures, these drones turn out to be finicky, unreliable, and highly vulnerable. On a modern battlefield where Russia deploys some of the densest and most advanced electronic warfare systems in the world, these modified commercial drones drop like flies. Their signals are easily jammed, turning the operator's screen into static before the drone crashes out of control. Moreover, Eastern European weather is unforgiving toward delicate electronic gadgets. In winter, Ukraine is dark for 14 hours a day. Only a few FPV drones have night vision capability, and those that do are very limited in number and cost twice as much. Strong winds, hail, heavy snow, and thick fog can make these drones unable to fly at all. While enemy drones may also be grounded due to weather, Russian artillery and more robust systems continue operating, destroying their positions. Ukraine and the West boast too much in the media and forget what truly needs to be fixed on the real battlefield. So, that's all for today, and thanks for watching.